days ahead will be very interesting for this possibility. Julie, this could be a masterstroke if this happens. But will Rabiu Kwankwaso, 15 days to the election, perhaps it started with the Labour Party, that major talk did not yield anything. Now we're looking at a single candidate for the whole North. The possibility, if NNPP decide to go on a merger with the People's Democratic Party, how possible is this?
Well, they've not shown any sign that that will happen. And if Buba Galadima can come out and speak in this manner and expose what happened in the dark, it shows that that's not a route that they want to pass through. That's not a road that they want to pass through. The Kwankwaso wants to be seen as the most dominant politician in northern Nigeria. And it will not serve his cause to go and step down for Atiku. He wants to be the biggest fish in the pond. He's been working hard at this for some time. And you know that even during the APC presidential primaries of 2014, he defeated Atiku.
Yes, I remember.
In fact,
that was shocking.
The delegates from Adama voted for him.
Remember?
He defeated Atiku hands down at the Slim Balogun Stadium. So he fancies his chances of defeating him even now. When you listen to Galadima talk, he doesn't see his own party as inferior to, or his own candidate as inferior to any other candidate. And when you talk about Atiku, they give the impression that any day he can defeat Atiku. So he's not prepared to step down for him. And when Atiku came out the other day to say that they were in talks with Kwankwaso as well as Obi's party, you can see the anger with which the two sets of party men discountenance that statement. In fact, in very angry manner. That what is he talking about? We have no plan. In fact, Obi described himself as the front runner. Therefore, it's Atiku that should step down for him. That's what Obi said. Yeah, this is the same way Kwankwaso is thinking. In the north now, especially in the northwest, which will be the battleground in this election, Kwankwaso does not see himself as inferior to anyone. He may be bigging himself more than necessary. But as Delegiwa said, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So if you go into a race believing before even that race began that there's nothing I can do to win this, there's no way you win. You must first be determined in your heart that you want to win, that you can win. That is what will galvanize you, propel you to victory. But you don't go into a race already convinced that they are going to defeat me. Nobody who wants to win goes around with that mindset. So that is the way the Kwankwaso people are thinking. And as far as they are concerned, Atiku is wasting his time. Galadima said he spent billions of naira to persuade religious leaders and traditional rulers to convince him that they came net down for Kwankwaso, that he should please step down for Atiku. Kwankwaso is a politician who believes in the winner takes all. Look at the way he treated Shekarau, for example. To even concede positions. He
lured him.
Positions to Shekarau's men. You know he refused to do it.
Yes, became very difficult, extremely difficult.
He didn't do it, and those guys lost the opportunity to even contest elections because they left the APC, joined him. He kept delaying. They will call for meeting. The meeting will not happen until it was too late for them to be candidates in the election. He didn't yield ground. So that is the person who will now say, okay, I'm no longer interested in the presidency. You, Atiku, come and take. No, I don't think Kwankwaso is ready for that.
Politicians, they are like incurable optimists. Like somebody like Kwankwaso, all true. I thought that it was going to gather momentum beyond Kano, Jigawa, and Kaduna. But let's look at his presence down south. I don't know his momentum, what's NNPP, how they are doing in the south-south, southeast, and southwest. Apart from that is area of dominance.
Well, when we look at the fact that the Northwest, for anybody to emerge president in Nigeria, you have to have probably majority of votes in the Northwest and Southwest. Let's say block vote. Anybody that can get block votes from these two regions, because the two of them had 42 million registered voters as at ANEC as at today. So for anybody now, and you look at the fact that Buhari contested 3 times, his influence did not go beyond the core north, that is the 19 states of the north. Until he gets one of the regions in the south, that is southwest, he could not win. So, and the kind of influence and the kind of followership that Buhari had, Kwankwaso cannot be compared with him in any way. I can't see him his influence going beyond the northwest of today. As per southeast, well, it's only 2 candidates or 3 candidates that can make influence. That is Obi, Tinubu, and Atiku. So I don't know how the kind of magic, like we said, politicians are optimists. Maybe he wanted to use the votes in Kano, or something has assured him that out of the 24 million votes in Kano, he can get 18. Even when you can get 18 million, you still need a spread. To become the president of Nigeria, you have to have 25% in 2/3 of the states of the country, which is 24 states. So I don't know how Kwankwaso can translate the followership he has. Yes, with the movement, he has it in the Northwest to other regions of Nigeria. And from the kind of campaign that we have witnessed so far, I cannot see him gathering much influence, especially when you don't have some other people contesting for other offices that will have popularized the party, like the House of Rep. I don't know how many House of Rep they have in Lagos. They have in most of the Southwest State and Southeast, and Senate. Because the totality of this will promote your candidature. So me, as far as I'm concerned today, I don't know why they are being, I think there's a rivalry between Kwankwaso and Atiku. Yes, when you look at it, Kwankwaso has been governor for 8 years. He has been to the Senate. Atiku was only vice president. In terms of masses following, yes, it may be stronger than Atiku in the Northwest. But I don't think whether he will be able to gather enough votes, even in the Northwest, to have 25%. Talk less of taking either of the Southeast, Southwest, and South-South.
Will it be right if I describe this former governor and Minister of Defense as a spoiler? Because if you look at the People's Democratic Party now, in 2019, this was part of PDP. In that same 2019, Labour Party was part of PDP. So the PDP is like fragmented now. Will it in any way, do you see that, the stronghold that former President, Vice President Atiku Abubakar is going to pick some votes, that he is going to whittle down his influence in a state like Kano?
But you cannot say the Northwest, where we expect Kwankwaso to do well. You can't say that is Atiku's stronghold. It's never done well in the Northwest because Buhari has always dominated that part of our country. And I know that he's been telling people, he's been saying that since Buhari is not in the race, the 12 million votes that Buhari usually claims, that is going to claim those votes. But when you look at
12 million,
the usual 12 million votes, the only time Buhari couldn't get it was when Yaradua was in the race. So it was Yaradua that denied him, because Yaradua defeated him. the race. So Atiku had never been strong in the Northwest. That is a fact. So, in my view, Kwankwaso is not a spoiler. It's just someone wishing to be the strongest politician. And in fairness to him, he's worked hard at building the Kwankwaso family, the Kwankwasia. He's worked really hard to get them to the level that they are now. You know, unfortunately for him too, having treated Shekarau the way he treated him, it is guaranteed that Shekarau supporters will work against.
Get back their pound of flesh.
They will work against him. They will support a different person. So, and there are many of, as a Kano man, he will have been banking on the support of majority of Kano people, but because of the no love loss relationship between him and Shekarau, some of those votes that he normally would have wished would come to him will not go to him because Shekarau's people feel betrayed, they felt badly treated, so they would rather work for rival politicians than support Kwankwaso. So that's what makes the Kano race quite interesting, because there are people now, Kwankwaso will be battling against the influence of Ganduje, whose candidate is Asiwaju Tinubu. Shekarau, who will be working for Atiku and trying his best to ensure that they teach Kwankwaso a lesson. So at the end of the day, even in Kano, where we will expect Kwankwaso to trounce everybody, it's going to be quite tough for him because of the array of opponents that have already massed against him. So, but in neighboring states like Katsina, Jigawa, to an extent, he will get some impressive votes. I'm not saying he's going to win in those places, at least
some seats.
Yes, yes. Some of his people, yes, they are going to do well. Even in Kano, they are going to win some seats, whether House of Reps or even assemblies. They've worked really hard. But this is a particularly interesting race. But I do not see Kwankwaso stepping down for Atiku. He wants to be his own man. He wants to run. Stepping down for people is not what will take you to the top. You must fancy your own chances. And I'm sure this is how he's thinking. It's about time that he could say, look, I've come of age. Yeah. And this is a man that he has defeated before.
Ola is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for staying with us, Ola.
Hello, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. With regards to what you are discussing now, I believe very strongly that Kwankwaso is just trying as much as possible to place himself on a pedestal he does not belong. Mr. Babajide mentioned something that is very important. The only time President Buhari lost an election, I mean, as a candidate from the north, was when Yahadua, contested with him. What it means is that, look, Atiku, being the dominant and presidential candidate on this ballot now, I'm almost 100% sure that he's going to garner majority of the votes from the north. Don't let anybody beat about the bush on that. So if Kwankwaso is trying to kind of give the impression that he doesn't want to step down for Atiku, well, let him be on his standpoint. But the fact is that the north,
thank you, Ola.
As far as I'm concerned, will vote for Atiku.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you for your contribution.
He thinks that because the Atiku is from the north, it's automatic that they will vote for their son. Why didn't they vote for Tofa when Abiola defeated him? Even in his polling unit at Gandu Albasa, close to where I used to live, Abiola defeated him. The polling unit near his house, he defeated him. Why didn't they say, oh, he's a northerner, is the one in the race. And that time we had two dominant parties, NRC and SDP. Yes. This thing doesn't work like that. If you read what this old NRC man, NNPP man, that the old man, Tanko Yaka said, what he said. He said Atiku doesn't have the kind of foot soldiers in Kano, for example, that can deliver victory to him. Politics is local. The people are the grassroots. There are people who reach out to them. There are people that they are familiar with. Everywhere those people are going, you can be sure they go with those people. So he's saying that he doesn't have such strong grassroots politicians as foot soldiers to help him deliver the votes from places like Kano. And I've sat down. There are some of these politicians that we know them. We know some of the strong people who work for them. With Atiku in Kano, for example, I don't know such people. So I think the old man was right. And the people of the North do not simply vote on account of, oh, this person is a Northerner, therefore we must vote for him. No. They don't vote like that all the time. That's why the example of Abiola is there. They rejected their own son. Tofa from Kano, they rejected him and voted for somebody from Ogun State. So the kind of analogy that he gave that sure that is going to...
From the north.
If you understand Nigerian politics very well, it doesn't follow. Didn't the Yoruba people reject Obasanjo here?
At his unit.
They rejected him. They didn't say, oh, he's a former president, he's our son. The North embraced him. The Southeast embraced him. But his own people here, they rejected him. Here in the Southwest, he was well defeated here. Obasanjo.
All right. Apart from public criticism from helpless citizens, the Naira